Classic legendary rock band, the Melvins, have just released their newest album. Now, the Melvins, of course, been doing it strong for almost, a little over 30 years. They were contemporaries and proteges of bands like Nirvana and a whole bunch of other bands that were coming out of the same scene they were in, of course, Washington, Seattle, of course. And they were pretty big in the 90s, but they didn't even sign a major until 1993. They really stuck to the underground, of course. And I wanted to cover their last album before on my previous channel, but I got preoccupied, so I had to check out this latest album that they did. And they had a song that started this album out called, of course, Stop Moving to Florida, which I thought was a humorous track, and I thought maybe it would poke fun to some of their older fan base, which, of course, when you get to retirement age, you go to, of course, fucking Florida. That's where my grandmother is, and that's where all the cool elderly folks are retiring at. So yeah, I'm listening to this track, and oh man, shit's me. It sounded like a track that was very familiar in classic rock history. It sounded like Guns N' Roses' Welcome to the Jungle. And I don't know if this was intentional or not, but still, Guns N' Roses, they had a big beef with Nirvana and Kurt Cobain. And Kurt Cobain was asked to, head a tour, or at least open up for Guns N' Roses, which he quickly denied. So I don't know why would they sample a song like this. And of course, Axl Rose, he's really really just a stickler about the Guns N' Roses brand and all that type of shit. So I don't know why their opening riffs sound like Guns N' Roses. But then in the dead set of the middle of the track, it sounded a little bit like Black Dog by Led Zeppelin, where they just have this little spoken, and then you have the little guitars going, doing whatever. And he says some crazy shit. It sounded like a mixture of a alcoholic rant from your uncle, your drunk uncle and shit like that, where he says that LBJ was a Soviet Jew for some reason. He said that Sidney Poitier was a blind man. Sidney Poitier, the famous actor. So I don't know. Maybe that was a role that he was doing. Or maybe it's just a bunch of fucking gibberish. I don't know. There's references to potty training Chairman Mao, for some reason. And using India's sacred cow for White Castle, So, hey, kind of a little odd. But I was thinking maybe this is like a rant brought on by Alzheimer's, since a lot of people in Florida are old, and when you get old, you start to get Alzheimer's and shit like that. So, hey, I thought maybe, hey, that was a cool tie-in, especially when you have a song like I Want to Hold Your Hand, which is a cover of the Beatles, which may be a throwback, like a oldie but goodie. But I don't really like their cover, and I think that the Beatles are being overcovered to begin with, if you ask me. But hey, that's just me, And it seems a little strange that the Melvins, one of the biggest underground groups, would cover the best-selling band ever. But hey, that's just me. The second track, Embrace, seems to be talking about accepting that you're impoverished, just like the track Break Bread seems to be talking about giving to the poor, or giving out your wealth and assets and money to help people, which is pretty cool. Don't Forget to Breathe is one of the longer tracks on here, and it's pretty good. It seems to be talking about the birthing methods and the struggles you have in life. Where starting out a line where he says he grabbed the baby's legs when he came out, which is pretty cool and excellent, and would tie into the theme of Pinkerton abortion technology or whatever the fuck that is. A song like Flamboyant Duck and also a song like Butter seems to have more of a peaceful, more somber, kind of country feel to it. I kind of love it. You have all these, it's a good mixture when you have all these booming, fast guitars and shit like that. It's good to have your peaceful and very tranquil songs in the mix. I really thought that that was pretty cool. And also Graveyard, I think it kind of ties into the whole idea of from cradle to grave and really ties in well with the whole idea of abortion or at least death. So yes, of course, with their last album was about death, so it would be pretty good too. Here's an interesting fact. The song Stop Moving to Florida is actually a mixture of two songs. One being the James Gang Stop, which of course samples in the first half, and the other being Moving to Florida by the Butthole Surfers, which is the most gayest name, one of the most gayest names I ever fucking heard. Moving to Florida, which I heard both of them, and I have to say, the Butthole Surfers actually does a much more better job at conveying the weirdness and just overall, I don't know, just awkwardness that they were trying to hit. But I just wanted to point that out, just to give you a little kooky fact. But here's my overall grade of the project. I'm gonna give it a 7. I thought that they could do much better, and I wish the track listing was much more longer and a little bit more original. But overall, it's a solid album, and I kind of wish that we had a little bit more averaging out with the tracks. Like you had one fucking track that was about 7 minutes. Then you have 2 tracks that's under 3 minutes. I mean, really just. But overall, it's still a pretty good album. I really want you to check it out. So please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And tell me, how did you all feel about this new Melvins album? I'm out.